You were a what?
I was a sex phone operator. Like, people would call.
How long have I known you? I didn't know this
Not long.
about you.
Man.
I've known you for a long time. I don't think I knew this. You were either I knew it or I forgot.
I think I've told you a few times, but that was actually whenever I turned 18, I was still in high school, and I was looking for a fucking part-time job, man, that I could just sit at home. And a buddy of mine, his mom was in it, right? And she would talk to people and shit like that. And I'd talk to her about it, and man, you would get like, and I was good at it too, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was actually really good at talking to men and women and shit like that, just talking dirty and shit, and getting like I think it was 20 or $25 a minute, and I would try to run up the bill and shit like that. And of course, I'm not getting paid that. I'm pretty much getting paid the fucking commission.
Oh, okay.
And, if I had that kind of money, hell, that would have been awesome. But man, just talking, it just naturally talking to people and stuff like that is probably one of the fucking hardest things, because some of those people would get on the phone and just want to talk, and it's like, man, you must really be lonely.
So they're calling these expensive ass sex hotlines just to have a conversation.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
And people would blow fucking. I would try to stay on the line with these people as long as possible, and that's pretty much the goal. And man, it was interesting the walks of life people are from just by talking to them and stuff. And they would ask me, "Oh, well, what's your fantasy?" Blah blah blah, and I would make shit up because I'm not a sexual person or anything like that, and I don't really give a shit. And I would tell people, just different things, or like match my preferences to theirs and stuff like that. And
I want you to cut me.
Oh yeah, dude, some crazy shit like that too, man.
Like, damn, calm down, Jeffrey.
I don't want you to dress up like Pikachu while I get you from behind.
I met a lady that was like into like handicapped people.
Dope.
And I was like, damn, what up?
Talk
and then
about
I
score.
actually told her that I was handicapped and shit. I was her favorite customer. I mean, she was my favorite.
You paid her to have sex with you?
Not paid to have sex. Pretty much I was a whore on the phone.
Nice.
So, yeah. That's something that
she was paying him to talk dirty to her on the phone.
Ooh.
But in most cases, they would just want to talk and chat and shit like that.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, like, because I don't really know loneliness. I've generally always had friends, family, somebody to be around. Like, there's times like, oh, I'm bored and I'm lonely. Find something to do. But actual loneliness, I don't think I've ever really felt. And I'm like, from what I can assume what loneliness would be like, I could also assume that people will pay a shitload to not feel that. To feel something other than nothing. People pay to feel the shit out of that.
That's true.
Right?
I think that's how like jerk off theaters got started. A bunch of people sitting at home, lonely, jerking off, all come together to sit in a room, lonely, and jerk off together.
And they just want to jerk it together.
And there's nothing wrong with jerking it together.
That's kind of how my WoW addiction started.
Jerking it together?
I mean, pretty on much. A very base level, I mean, that's kind of what it evolved into, right? Like,
I was in the middle of a battle, jerking it.
My work schedule and school schedule, because I was in college at the time, and I was doing that massage therapy degree and everything, and I had doubled up on things where I was getting my Associates of Applied Science at the same time, So I was doing my gen ed classes during the day, doing my massage classes in the evening, and then going to work for like 8 hours. And I'd come home at 2 a.m. I didn't get to see anybody, and I didn't really like the people I was in school with for the most part. And fucking, I wasn't around my kind. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of pot smoking gamers and shit. That's what I did. That was my entire like hobby back then. I smoked weed and I played video games. So then WoW came out, and I had an opportunity to play, and it was the first time I had an opportunity to play a massively multiplayer online game. That was like a brand new experience for me. I'd never done that before. I always ever played, single player or local multiplayer on consoles and stuff for the most part. The only like thing I ever was like kind of massively multiplayer with was StarCraft. Jeez, brain fart on that one. And that environment was always kind of toxic, so I didn't like to socialize with people. But with WoW, like I actually got to have a friend group, like a full-size friend group, 10, 15 people. And we're really close, and we're playing games all the time and talking about personal shit, and it got to be a lot more about the game, where sometimes I would get on there at night and wouldn't do shit, but sit in the Park District in Stormwind and just talk all night long with people. And that was some of the best times I ever had during college, was coming home after work and playing video games. Like, yeah, I had some good times in college itself, but for the most part, like, WoW was how I socialized with people who I actually identified with. And it didn't matter that they were, halfway across the country. There's people I still talk to. I don't play WoW anymore, but there's people that I still talk to and still keep up with, a couple times a week that I played WoW with back then.
Well, because like one of the things that like I think people get misconstrued about like nowadays, at least in my previous experiences, like a lot of like people who I used to be friends with that I'm not really friends with anymore judge friendship based on attendance rather than substance, And
True.
so it's like we get, especially as you get older, you get busier. You got to do this, you got to do that. Your responsibilities you get more responsibilities, so you have to take care of those, which takes up more time. And as we gotten older, like we don't see each other every day. Like like the three of us used to see each other all the time. But life goes on. Me and Joe had kids. We have to take care of that.
And I stayed the same.
And Curtis stayed perfect.
Oh.
But it doesn't matter that we don't speak to each other every day, And before we started the Savage Society, there were sometimes weeks we wouldn't go, or we would go without speaking to each other. But it doesn't change that anything, because we all realize, yes, we're grown, and that friendship is still there, So it's like perfectly viable to build that genuine friendship. Like you said, you still talk to some of these people. And how many years has it been?
It's probably been 2-3 years since I've played WoW.
Yeah, so 2-3 years later, and these are people you've never met in person, but these are genuine friendships, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Some of these people I've known longer than 10 years. There's some of these people I've known longer than either of you.
God, I gotta go kick their ass. Yeah, but like I said, with my previous experiences, it's like if I didn't talk to some of these people like 2 or 3 times a week, or at least see them once a week. Like I had a really close buddy of mine that, like, when we moved up to Denton, he didn't transition well, from being in this podunk, run-of-the-mill, nothing-to-do town into a college town, And when I got up there, I came from the same nothing-to-do town into a college town. So I went and found stuff to do, outside of him. I made new friends. I went to go do stuff with them, and then but it got to the point no matter how many days in a row, for how many hours a day that I would hang out with that person, if I didn't see him or he didn't see me one day, he would lose his mind. And after a while, I was just like, I'm done with that.
Yeah, I can't handle that kind of shit. I have a problem with people being really possessive over me.
Bro.
Want me to go and hang out or do this, and then whenever I'm like, I can't do that right now. they get all butthurt and shit, and that's like, man, I can't deal with that shit.
No, like
People
that's one of
have
them
shit
things.
going
Like
on.
people break up with their girlfriends over shit like that, and that's somebody they're having sex with. Like, come on, dude, you gotta back off.
Right? I mean, they're there. You're dating this person because you like them. You don't start dating somebody just because, like, and this could be like because of like how relationships were dealt with the past forever. Is like how women were always treated as property, and like, and that we know now, like at least on a conscious level, that women aren't property. Women are their own people. Like that's why Catherine didn't take my last name, because we had that conversation and she asked me, "Do you want me to take your last name?" And I was like, "No, you're not mine. I fell in love with Catherine Kilroy. That's who I want to be married to." You know, and then people are all the time like um being like, "She didn't take your last name?" No. Shoot, that would have been a deal breaker for me. And then you can go be fucking lonely all your goddamn life, you know? But I think part of it is like with people get together is like, especially with men, is that like it's the way the relationships have been dealt with for like I said, for forever, is that I think there's part of that subconsciously like feels like, oh, that they're ours, you know, it's my girlfriend, she's mine, you know, and I think when they use those little play words, sometimes in their brain it goes too seriously.
Oh yeah.
And they become possessive and like, where are you going? What are you doing this for? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if you agree to be in a monogamous relationship and you start, you know, there's a certain amount of that's mine or whatever. But it's not as people take it too far. They start thinking about it as like a property kind of thing. And some men are just pieces of shit anyway. And women too can be like that, you know.
Oh, yes.
Start looking at their man like he's a tool or he's, you know, just another piece of just another accessory of hers to be used. And
every
Right,
damn relationship that I've been in, a woman's been so jealous of like my friends and shit like that, and I've always had a lot of friends, and you know, so because I have a lot of love to give to everybody pretty much, and every relationship that I've been in has ended because like they don't want to go and hang out with my friends, but I want to go hang out with their friends and stuff like that, or my friends and shit like that. But you know, they'll be the first to ask me, you know, to come and, you know, hang out with their friends and shit. It's just so messed up, man.
And see, like I'm gonna have friends that, you know, Catherine doesn't like and doesn't want to hang out with, just like she's gonna have friends that I don't want to hang out with. So if I want to go hang out with these friends, that's like she doesn't get mad about that, and that's like one of the things I think like why me and her work so well is because I'm so used to having like these. I'm in the past having these possessive and obsessive girlfriends, like, and Catherine's like, "I'm gonna fuck what you do. You're a grown man," and I'm like, "Ooh, come on my face," because you know it's just a fresh experience to be in an actual adult relationship. You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Haley was kind of like that when we first got together, and I was starting to think it was a red flag, but it turned out to just be that she was lonely and didn't have that many friends of her own. So finally, you know, when I figured that out, I was like, well, come be friends with my friends. And that worked sometimes.
Sometimes.
She used to be way more judgmental than she is.
Oh my gosh,
And,
yes, she did.
And she would throw this phrase around, that is trashy. And I'm like, woman, do you know who you married?
I am trashy myself.
We are white trash.
I came from where they manufacture white trash, okay?
Right. I'm manufactured and owned by white trash.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, you know, I know what I am, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm happy for the most part.
We're working to fix that. We're working to, you know, be upper class white trash.
Right. I'm happy with who I am, not necessarily where I am, but that's a position you should stay in. You should always be ready to grow.
Yep, always.
So
once you become complacent, you're done.
Right.
Shit. It'd be nice to have buku of money.
Well, yeah. I'm a firm believer in people that says money can't buy happiness have never been poor.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Money can't buy you happiness, but you can sure buy me a new
shit.
fucking handicap
Give me just a second.
accessible
My son just got
bed.
home.
Well, I mean, it's like money. No, you can't purchase the concept of money, which I guess is the stupid thing they're trying to say behind. I mean, you can't purchase the concept of happiness, which I guess is the stupid thing they're trying to say with that thing. But you can buy shit that makes you happy. And you know, they say money can't buy love. But if some person is spending their money buying me stuff, you know, giving me money when I need it, if I'm under the thing, you know, I'm eventually going to grow to love that person.
Shit. Sometimes I wish that, going back to like relationship stuff, like I've always been the person that puts like 110% into like anything that I do, and then like I'll get into a relationship or something like that, and it's completely the opposite, like on their part, and it's like, son of a bitch, all I want is somebody to fucking go full circle and help a brother out. Damn it.
You see, and that's why I have this firm belief that you can't like be all. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Apparently, I can't be all smarts, but you can't be like all. You can't put everything you got into the relationship. There has to be that's her. If she's getting filled every desire and stuff all the time. Eventually, boredom will set in. You got to have that good 70-30, 75-25 split between being a sweetheart and being an asshole. You know?
Oh yeah.
Because despite what chicks say, they like that, little dickishness sometimes. They like seeing that other side to their relatively sweet boyfriend because it's a darker side. It's a more mysterious side that they're not used to. So sometimes you just gotta be like, no, bitch, you get out, go pour your own goddamn drink. And they'll be mad. And they'll be mad then. But, they also don't want to be called because women are, they're their own beings. They want to be their own thing. Yes, they want to be taken care of, but so do we as men want that time where we're being taken care of. There's a reason.
I disagree. I disagree. If I talked to my wife the way you talk to yours, I wouldn't be married.
Yeah. Well, me and my wife have a different relationship than you and your wife have. Like
you and your wife have a different relationship than 99.9% of other people. So I'm just saying, your mileage may vary with this advice.
That's very true. I can only speak from experience. There's a reason that I've been with her going on 6 years now, and my previous longest relationship was 7 months. I found somebody that I am compatible with and I can click with, who can, it's like Tom Jones said, in the song She's a Lady, she knows what I'm about and she can take what I dish out, and that's not easy. Sometimes
that describes the two of you to a fucking T right there.
Doesn't it?
Both ways. Yeah. She's not easy to deal with either.
No, she's not.
Let me be very clear. If my wife talked to me the way Catherine talks to you, we would not still be together.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you guys are a good pair. That's all.
Yep.
I was wrong when I yelled at your wiener on the dock.
Well, because
I did. I found out he was messing around with her, and I come over here. And he came over, he was like, what's up? And I was like, you hold on a minute. And I looked down at his dick and I was like, no, bad.
Yeah. But nobody thought me and her were going to last long at all, let alone going on 6 years. Everybody thought it was just a physical thing. And it really wasn't. There was something like that connected with me and Catherine, and it's something that neither of us could ignore after a while. And then here we are. Just like I said, almost 6 years later, and we're still happy. At least happy-ish. We're at least happy every day. Maybe not all day every day, but we are at least happy every day.
Well, nobody can be happy 100% of the time for over 100% of the things. There's going to be unhappiness in life. Yeah. What's important is that the two of you make each other happy.
Exactly.
And you're together, because that's the important part.
like the other day when you came over and we got a surprise no kids day, we had all these plans and all we ended up doing was sitting on the couch and doing nothing. And it was a blast just sitting there watching Deadpool 2.
Sometimes those are the best nights, man.
Yep. Just, cuddled up next to each other watching a good movie. Those parts that it's like those are the important things like that I think most people might take for granted.
It really is one of the most important things, especially whenever it's and it brings you closer together. That bonding is what matters.
Yeah. And just the kids not being there is just so good.
It's like, damn, this is what we needed.
And sometimes it is. It's always nice to have a night without the kids, even if you just do nothing.
Hell
It's
yeah.
just that night without children is just fantastic. Even though, like, every 2 hours, like, I wish my kids were home. But then I'm like, no, I fucking don't. They'll be here tomorrow, and I'll be mad.
You know it.
Oh, living with children is definitely a man, just breed of its own, man. Having that kind of responsibility is
I think I said it on, like, the last iteration of the talk show, that all parenting is a never-ending, how did I say it? It's just a constant state of worry and fear. That's all parenting is, with bright glimpses of joy.
Oh yeah. Most
That's
of the
all
time,
it is.
Yeah, most of the time you're worried.
But it is crazy that how you can, like, be so excited. Like, I love being a parent so much. I love it. It's my favorite thing I've ever done in my entire life. Except maybe masturbating. That's pretty fun too. But that could be for sentimental reasons. But being a parent is just so crazy how you can love doing something so much that causes you nothing but so much anxiety.
right.
It's them brain chemicals, man. They're a motherfucker.
Right? It's I love you so much. Please don't die on me.
I'm right. Cause, dude, I can't remember which comedian said this now, but there was a stand-up comic that was talking about parenthood a while back, and he was saying that having a kid is a lot like having a drunk, suicidal little person for a roommate, and that's true.
It is absolutely true, and like it's like accidentally suicidal,
Yeah, they're not trying to actively kill themselves. They just don't know that they're mortal. They have no concept of that yet.
Right? They don't understand, like, grasp. Like, that's why every kid should probably watch The Lion King so they can grasp death. I think that movie probably deals with the concept of death the best for a child. And except for when my fucking oldest daughter watched it, and Scar's got Mufasa hanging off the edge of the cliff, and he lets him go to fall to his death. My oldest child laughed at that shit, and I turned right around and walked away in fear.
She's a little sociopath. I'm not gonna lie.
Just gosh damn.
It's like, man, this little girl's happy that motherfucker died. Well,
everybody does. Like, I mean, there's times in The Dark Knight I found myself rooting for the Joker. Maybe she's just maybe she just likes Scar that much.
just a good bad guy.
Good villains. And plus Jeremy Irons' voice.
Be back in 1 sec.
We'll just quiet.
Now, dude, Dark Knight is such a good movie.
Oh yes.
Probably one of my favorites.
Easy top 10, possible top 5.
Dude, you're not lying about that.
It's just, I feel like that movie was an arcing point for, like, what superhero movies could be.
And
They could be more. Go ahead.
I love how dark that movie is.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem. Is like everybody wants to try to, because of how successful the Dark Knight trilogy was. Everybody wants to jump on that style of making that movie, and we don't need that.
Yeah,
Batman needed that. Batman v Superman did not need that. Superman did not need that. Superman needed to be. It's a story about hope, so just covered in gloom. You know, it's just it should have been bright. There's a reason Superman's pretty much always been a bright. Like even the animated series, they did it bright colors. The old Christopher Reeves movies were generally a bright movie, and so you take this movie about hope and you covered it in grime and dismay and despair. And it's not a Superman movie. It is a superhero movie, but it's not in my opinion.
Yeah. I loved the animated Batman movie back in the day. You remember?
Which one? The movie or the TV
animated
series?
The
series. Okay.
Man,
Oh yeah,
that was my
dude.
shit.
absolutely.
Man, that taught me a lot about like that made me more like fluid and like art and stuff like that, because I just love the feeling that show gives you, like from the beginning to the absolute end. Whenever you see the WB sign, whatever, and then the lights come up and shit like that, the searchlights come up like that. Every time
Yeah.
I see that WB, whatever, that Warner Brothers logo, I think of the Batman animated series.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Have you seen the live action version of the intro to that show?
No,
I
I
didn't
want
know
to.
there was
I need
one.
to.
Check out the realistic version of Batman animated series.
I like because they did. I think they took the theme song to the animated series from the Batman, the first Michael Keaton Batman, and just to give it that tone and stuff. And like, well, the reason, like, there's a reason that the animated series feels so different from everything else, and is because it was made differently than every other animated series before. You know, every Batman fan knows that they drew it on the dark paper. You know,
Right.
and it's,
They drew it on black paper and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
instead of the traditional white.
Yeah. I actually didn't know that until I feel like somewhat recently, like within the last couple of years I found that out. It blew me away, but it makes a lot of sense because that is one of the, like, just color-wise, that is one of the darkest shows I can ever
Yeah.
remember watching.
No, there's literally, I can't remember anything else like it on TV. I mean, it was so good. It got I believe, like, we can look this up for proof later, and if it's not true, just edit this part out. But I believe it was an animated series in a network primetime slot at one point.
Yeah, so I mean, they had to do something. They had to do something badass to keep that spot too.
Yeah. I mean, that was like, when I came home from school, that was one of the first shows that came on. That was, that was like when I was kind of young. That was before I started watching like Dragon Ball Z and stuff on Cartoon Network when I'd come home.
That's what I would watch when I came home, too.
Hell yeah.
I think the first thing I remember seeing is I think I came in at the end of the Saiyan saga. After he had just, like, I came in like right after he had just beaten Raditz. And then
okay.
Then I stayed in until they brought in, like, a little bit after they brought in Hercule and had that whole tournament. Like,
I love that. Oh,
I
that
loved
was
Hercule
a
as a
really
character.
cool tournament too.
I loved Hercule as a character. I think he was a bright spot.
Mr. Satan.
Yes, and the Supreme Kai.
Yep.
Diablo, was that his name? What was that devil's? Was it Mr. Satan?
Mr. Satan is Hercule.
Then who was the devil guy?
The
There was
devil
an actual Diablo, no. Diabetes-o.
Diabetes.
He had the diabetes toe.
They cut it off.
Since it's bothering me, I'm going to look up.
Yeah, it's bothering me a little bit too. I can't remember the dude's name, but yeah, in the In the Japanese version of the show, Hercule's name was Mr. Satan. So,
Is it really?
yeah. So if you watch the subtitled version with the actual original Japanese audio, you'll hear him. They call him Mr. Satan. Mr. Satan.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's why, like, if you watch the early Funimation dubs, they actually, back then, they didn't bother to kind of change any of the writing, so you'd still see some of the Japanese writing and stuff. And so if you pay attention, like Hercule's cape in the early days didn't say Hercule, it said Mr. Satan, even though everybody called him Hercule.
Oh snap! Is Funimation free?
Yeah, you can watch Funimation for free, but they have ads.
I don't care about ads.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't get. I see. That's one thing. Like, I don't understand griping about to an extent. Like, if you're like when something's free and I got to watch an ad in the middle of a YouTube video, I know people who get mad about that. And I just like, you're getting this great content that's entertaining you for free. Just wait 5 seconds and push the button.
Oh, Deborah. His name is Deborah.
Deborah, that's
Deborah.
it.
Oh shit.
I remember making a joke calling him Deborah when I was younger.
Yeah, dude, Deborah was badass. He was part of the he came in with Majin Buu.
Majin Buu,
He actually fought Majin Buu.
And
but Majin Buu fucking absolutely destroys the guy. And he's supposed to be like this
the whole Buu
almighty
saga was
character.
great.
yeah, it was. It really was. Coming up, because what was before that?
Oh,
Cell Saga?
Cell Saga.
Cell? Yeah. Which
That
is
was
another
badass,
good
too.
one. And before that, I think was what? Frieza?
Frieza,
Yes.
yeah.
Or was it Frieza or the Ginyu? No, because Ginyu
No,
Force is
Ginyu
Frieza.
came in
Yeah,
like
that is the
early.
Frieza saga.
Yeah. And you know, I think the beginning of the Frieza, so like they just beaten Raditz, and
Yep.
then I think, and that's like I said, that's when I came in, and that show changed my shit. Did it take over?
Man,
That is like part of my
Same here.
life.
dude, that was like you get home from school. That's all you could think about all day. It was like, oh, that new episode, it's going down.
The Dragon Ball Z.
When's he gonna drop that spirit bomb?
And maybe it'll be in 3 episodes.
Bro, the
They're
spirit
gonna
bomb that he
talk
dropped
about
on Namek took too long. By the end of that, I was
that
done.
was so.
I'm
was
pretty sure.
done.
I'm pretty sure a whole episode was just the ball going across the screen to it.
At least 2 whole episodes, dude.
Well, yeah, 2 episodes dedicated to him just building it up,
Right.
and then like an episode and a half
Yeah,
of him
but once
dropping
it
it.
fucking actually destroyed Namek, I was sad.
Nuked the piss out of that planet.
Yeah,
I was
Fuck
like,
you,
I
you
was
little
not-
green bastard.
I was not the only one that was done that day.
Right?
Yep.
Namek was just like, all right, just kill me already. All right, I'll let you. Let's just end this.
Yeah, to be fair, like by that point, Frieza had wiped out most of Namek's population anyway.
Right. So
well, they were gonna bring it. Well, they also brought everything back with the Dragon Balls and stuff like that.
oh yeah.
And that's why they were on Namek in the fucking first place, pretty much. And they ran into all the other bullshit.
Well, see, that's one of the things that I did not like about, like, Dragon Ball Z, because, like, very few things, especially with the good guys, felt permanent. And, like take, like, Yamcha. When Yamcha died the second time, it meant something, you know, because they weren't bringing him back. And I think, like, and that, to me, is, like, an impactful moment of that show, because, you know, we've had Yamcha
Mhm.
since Goku was a kid.
right.
And boom, he's dead.
Well, Goku died
Yep.
fucking 4 or 5 times too.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
he's Goku.
You
Get
gotta,
ready.
you gotta
You
bring
don't have-
Goku back. Without Goku,
Son of a
the
bitch.
Earth would have been destroyed a couple of times.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Yeah.
but see, that's the thing too. Like the original Dragon Balls, it did have a bit of a feeling of permanence because you could only be resurrected one time, and then the dragon couldn't bring you back anymore. Now the Namekian Dragon Balls were more powerful. You could get resurrected, you know, I think as many times as you wanted.
Because people would want you back.
Yeah. So
Oh, we don't want that son of a bitch anymore. Leave him dead.
I
I saw
can't
it.
remember why Yamcha didn't get brought back. Did he not want to, or was there a reason that they couldn't?
I believe that something else had happened, so they had to choose between Yamcha and doing the other thing. If I remember correctly, Yamcha told him to go with the other thing because it was for the greater good.
I think you're right.
Okay,
Was
yeah, that
it-
makes sense.
Was it?
Because maybe somebody else died.
Right. Was
'Cause
it Piccolo?
I don't know. I don't remember. Part of me wants to say it was Bulma, but
No,
was it not?
not Bulma.
I can't remember who it was, but I feel like
Yeah.
like somebody died and then they chose them over me.
Mhm.
Because apparently you can bring back like a whole bunch of Namex, but you can't bring back 2 people.
You cheap son of a bitch.
Don't get greedy on me, Goku. This is the 14th time you found all 7 Dragon Balls.
Well, it was
Yeah.
mostly, to be honest, dude, Bulma would always go out and find those fucking Dragon Balls.
Yep.
And then she would recruit people like Gohan and Krillin and stuff like that to go with her.
You
She's
know who
like-
was it? Go ahead, sorry.
Go and get these Dragon Balls that are up on top of this this mountain.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, why don't you go get it?
Do y'all
Bulma
remember
was
the...
manipulative as hell.
Oh, yeah, she was not... she didn't hide it at all. She would play you in front of the other person, and that other person would see you, then she would go play that person too, and they'd fall for it. I'll show you my panties.
I mean, that's why Vegeta fell in love with her.
Yeah, and I knew it was a great Dragon Ball character that I wish they would have brought to Dragon Ball Z, like in retrospect, because I didn't see Dragon Ball till afterwards. But you remember that little pig guy from Dragon Ball, the pervy pig?
Oh, yeah, Gulong.
Gulong, yeah. I
He's
wish they
in-
would have brought
oh,
him into Dragon Ball Z.
I thought
I think
Gulong
Yamcha got
is the
brought
Dragon
back
Ball Z.
eventually.
Then maybe that was parts I didn't see.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the wiki right now and I'm seeing pictures of him hanging out with Beerus and shit, and
Okay.
so he got brought back at some point, but I'm not trying to like, I'm listening to the conversation and skimming this wiki, so I'm sure I'm missing something, but
He may have been, and I just missed it. But like,
I
I don't
love
remember him
Gulong.
being. I don't remember him being a big part of Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, so here in the wiki, let's see, he was the protagonist or a protagonist in the manga and in the Dragon Ball series, and he made minor appearances in DBZ
Okay.
and in the GT series.
Gotcha. Okay, so maybe that's what it was. Like I said, I don't remember him being as big of a character as he was in Dragon Ball.
yeah, maybe
Yeah,
we're
he just
misremembering.
makes
He
an
just like
appearance.
retired from fighting or something.
Yep, I want to say that. Yeah, that was the thing, but he was at like the tournament, the grand tournament or something.
Maybe that's it. Like towards after the Hercule tournament when
Yeah.
Supreme Kai takes Goku. I remember watching that, and I remember like watching it on Cartoon Network, and I swear to God, the Supreme Kai was looking at somebody, and he was like, "Shut your mouth, you fat fucking Kai!" And like I swear that they said the F word on Cartoon Network, and that blew my mind.
They probably
Why
did
they
let
just
one
said
slip
fucking-
here and there.
I was watching Fear the Walking Dead. I don't watch the show normally, but it's an AMC show, and my parents watch it, and I was over at their house, and they were watching. I was sitting down, and I swear they gave a "fuck you" on the
Yeah, they-
AMC show.
Yeah, they
really?
did.
Yes.
Yeah, even The Walking Dead said fuck.
When?
Wow.
This season?
No, it was a past season. One of the characters was just oh fuck or something like that.
That's great.
I just remember that, and it just like in my mind, I'm like, did they just say what I think they just fucking said?
Yeah, because there's those moments on channels where you know they don't curse, where they curse you. You gotta like take a second.
Yeah, just like I'm watching One Piece over again, and that's like one of my favorite animes, just because I love pirates, and
Yeah.
Monkey D. Luffy's a badass, and they said shit, whatever, and I looked up and I was like, "Are you kidding me? I don't remember him ever saying shit." Like they're like actually like cussing and stuff like that, like fucking pirates.
What do you? Well, maybe they like cut that shit out because if you were watching it on TV,
I
look,
was
I think. Go ahead.
funny little part. They were on the Grand Line about to get on the Red Line, and they stop at this restaurant where Sanji's working, and one of the waiters, as soon as someone walks in, he goes, "Come on in, you damn thief!" Yeah. He goes, "Oh, you want that? Hey, the damn thief over here wants some." He's just calling everybody damn thieves and damn crooks and
Like me calling people liars this morning.
yeah.
So I'm looking right here because you mentioned The Walking Dead. I was like, man, that's intense. They just let him drop the F word, and
Yeah.
apparently, this was at the like late 2017. But let's see, AMC at the time agreed to let his show get away with 2 F words per season.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you got to be selective with those.
Oh, on SNL, I don't know if anybody still watches SNL, but do y'all know who Michael Che is?
Not offhand.
He's the Black Weekend Update guy.
Oh,
And in his contract, he negotiated the use of 4 N-words for this season.
With the
Holy
A or
crap.
the R.
I believe with the A.
Good.
Nobody's
And,
gonna let him
Dave
use a
Chappelle
hard R on
did.
TV.
no way.
Dave Chappelle was
But Dave Chappelle's not network TV.
right.
Dave Chappelle's not NBC.
That was
Remember
Comedy
the
Central.
The family.
Yes, but they got away with that because of how they spelled it. They weren't saying the N-word with the hard R. They were saying it was ARS, and then but that's genius. Like Dave Chappelle was a genius at that time. I mean, he still could be, but I don't know.
Yep.
He is.
His Netflix specials were really good. So
Dude, I actually watched a video that was about almost 4 hours long. Somebody took a video of him sitting in a comedy club in New York, just trying to walk the room. He's in there just trying on some shit. It's not really like an act or anything like that. He's just in there bullshitting. That's how much of a genius he is. I watched 4 hours of him sitting on a stage bullshitting with the audience, trying to walk a room.
Same thing with me, and I watched An Evening with Kevin Smith, like 4.5 hours, just him answering questions, and I'm like just enthralled. And I've watched 4 of them.
He did one at UNT.
Yes, he did. I believe he took a couple of his podcasts to do there as well.
yeah.
Because I believe, I believe that they, because I listen to 2 of his podcasts regularly, like Fat Man Beyond and Hollywood Babylon. And I believe I remember hearing a show where they were in UNT doing Hollywood Babylon.
Hell yeah.
Man, my buddy got
did
lucky
not
enough. I
know
think he
that.
did a show up in like the up in the UP one time, and he went and saw him there.
Nice. What's the UP?
Upper Peninsula.
Oh, okay, got you. Get him using
Yep.
all that Michigan jargon.
I know the UP. All
As
the
you say
Upas.
UNT, like he's supposed to know what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
In my
University of
defense,
North
like
Texas.
yeah, I could say like USC, and he knows where the University of Southern California is.
That I would have thought something. I don't know. Maybe I would have known that.
We're gonna say the
Yes.
only university I know about in California is UCLA. That's the one you always hear about.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are they? Who gives a shit? Go Bruins! I mean, yay!
Basketball and stuff.
Yay! Sports talks. I did a sports once, and it was awful.
I did a sports once.
What kind of sports do y'all like watching?
Back in the day, I used to be obsessed because like dodgeball had this period of where it was super popular, so they would air dodgeball tournaments. And then like around that same time, I remember they had this trampoline basketball league.
Oh,
The dunk where they would
slam ball.
Wow.
slam ball, and like you got more points for dunking it than you did for shooting or like getting a 3.
I
they
am
would jump
very
off
disappointed.
trampolines.
I'm very disappointed I missed out on that.
Oh,
Dude,
it used
it
to
was
be
epic.
dope. It was so dope because they'd be like halfway down the field, hit a trampoline.
Doesn't
front
and
flips
Win
and
still
jumping.
do that competition?
They may. I'm not entirely sure, but they should. Like they should just add that trampoline thing. They should make that the All-Star game,
Yeah,
Right?
they'd have NBA players jumping around on them and shit.
right?
We're have
Could
like
you imagine
Olympic
Shaq
slam
out
ball.
there on one of those things?
Jeez.
He would probably go,
Big motherfucker just flying
Watch
through the
out! I used to be a genie. I can fly.
where the fuck is Rhythm when we need him?
air.
He
Damn
used to
it.
do a damn good, he probably still does do a damn
Wait,
good.
fast like he didn't die, man.
You know what I mean.
He's dead to us.
He's not, no. He's not dead to us.
It
No.
was a joke. Oh gosh, you can't make jokes. People get their feelings hurt. We're never gonna have people listen to us.
No.
Right? No.
That said, I don't know if I think for sports, yeah, slam ball at one time. Golf, I don't know what made me do that, but I watched a lot of golf when I was younger.
Super wide of you.
Extremely white.
I mean, I wasn't gonna.
Except I was watching. That was when Tiger Woods was like, that was his heyday. That was when I was watching Tiger Woods, and I don't remember anyone else. I cannot remember.
I was watching the
person.
NPPGACP.
So I can remember watching Tiger Woods playing golf on this little shit tube TV in the kitchen in my childhood home, and then at the same time like switching over because Kid Rock had just released like a new music video because he was still relevant.
I'm a cowboy, baby.
It
Where's
probably
ball-
was for that song.
The ball with the ball.
Oh, with the bang, diggy, diggy.
I feel like that song got made because like he was put on the spot to make a song and he didn't know what to sing about, so he just started making noises till he could think of something in his head.
Right?
Kid, I'll just scream my name for a while and buy me some time. No, but my favorite sports things, periods, hands down, it's no competition, is wrestling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wrestling. Anything wrestling, I love.
That is my jam. And I
I
don't
think
know.
I still love to watch. I used to coach actually, but I still love to watch soccer.
Used to coach
Nice.
soccer?
Yeah,
Dude.
that was when shit from like 2001 ish to about 2006 or 7.
How old were
Yep.
you?
That was from 17 to about 22.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I used to play
I was
a lot of
a
soccer, so
I was a defense coach for a
So
soccer
we-
team for a while.
Like,
Um,
how old were the soccer people? Like,
Oh,
people
they
playing?
were
Like adults or little kids?
No, like middle school to freshman high school age. Like so they were
Oh, that's cool.
oh wow.
yeah, so they were between I think 12 and 16 I think was the cutoff.
Okay. So it's like
How did you get into
I don't know if
that?
that counts as Little League and JV.
It was a community league, and I knew the well, I guess I can talk about it now because I don't do it anymore. But I knew the coach because I sold weed to him. And
I hope he still doesn't coach there.
I don't know. That's why I haven't talked about the league. But yeah,
The
so
statute of limitations.
I mean,
you're
he
good.
looked like a dude. Dude had fucking hair down to his ass crack, long beard, but he was rail thin. The guy used to play semi-pro. He was he blew out his knee, and that was it. But so yeah, he got into coaching because of his son. His son really liked to play, like got into it when he was really, really little, and so he started coaching a team when his son got old enough to actually start bugging him for that sort of thing, and that it took off from there. And he told me about it, and because he came by one day, and I happened to have a match on the TV, and he was like, "You like soccer?" And I was like, "Yeah." Or no, I had FIFA on. I was playing FIFA when he came over. That's what it was. And so he was like, "Well, I need, my defense coach just moved, and so I don't have anybody." And so yeah, it went from there. And
It's gotta be like.
actually got my little brother playing on the team a year later. And he liked it for the most part. He was one of them goalies that he was a little sociopath anyway, and we'd stick him in the goal box, and he would try to hurt people.
Nice. Even his own team.
Dude, he broke one kid's leg. Like, they had to take this one kid away in a fucking ambulance.
Man,
But
dude's
yeah,
hardcore.
he's not all there. Like, empathy wise, he legit tried to hurt people. And we
That's
used it
why
to
we
our
put him
advantage
on
more than once.
defense.
Yeah, more than once. More than once, we was up against a team where I just got pissed off enough. I was like, "Get your ass in that goal box," and next person that comes back there, they better not be able to walk out. And he did it. But it was one of them teams where, and it was one of them teams. It was everybody has to play against these. There's always one of those teams when you're talking about community leagues where they'll do what they can do to cheat. They'll lie on registration forms to get kids in there that are older than they are supposed to be.
30-year-old men.
Well, no, there was this one team that we actually got disqualified and banned because it was found out that and we were complaining about how old these kids looked in the first place, but one of the kids that was playing wasn't a kid. He was 21 years old. He just had a baby face. And, there was drama like that went on. But yeah, I liked soccer a lot. And I always, not as much as soccer, but I've always enjoyed watching football if it's a good game. I'm not one of those people that can sit through a shitty game.
No, I can't either. Man, I found my favorite way to watch football is because like they'll record the game and then by the next day somebody has gone through and cut it down to just play to play to play to play. So there's no in between the plays, there's no timeouts, there's no halftime, there's no commercials. It's just play to play to play to play. And it takes a little bit under an hour to, maybe. Yeah, a little bit under an hour to watch.
That's how I need to watch some football.
It is fantastic.
Yep, that's how I need to be watching me some football. I can do that. And I'm saying this as a person who can watch professional soccer, and you might get one goal for a whole game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, the difference with that is like, I don't want to watch 3 minutes of football to see 4 to 5 seconds of football.
Yeah, there is a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Just watching them kind of walk around and set up, and most of a football game is ads.
It is. I mean, like, there's 15-minute quarters. A football game is 1 hour. Football are broadcast for 3 to 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
That's just too much.
I agree.
But soccer is like, because I used to watch soccer when I was younger. I just kind of grew out of it. But they don't stop as much. Same thing with basketball. There's a lot of movement, up and down, up and down, up and down. Missionary style sport.
Up and down, up and down.
When I was a kid, I used to like to watch baseball, but that's because my uncle was into it, and I worshipped the ground he walked on. So
did you hate baseball and just pretended to like it?
No, I got to where I enjoyed it just because I mean, if he was around and watching, he was super into it, and because he was super into it, I wanted to be super into it, so I was asking a lot of questions, and it was fun to support the team he supported. So I was a Braves fan by default. I lived in Oklahoma for the Atlanta Braves. But we didn't have a pro baseball team, so still don't, as far as I know.
Well, I mean, nobody wants to go sit in Oklahoma for 3 hours.
Nobody. And nobody's rich enough in Oklahoma to own a pro sports team.
Right? Oh, no, Garth Brooks, baby. I don't know if he still lives in Oklahoma, but from there.
He still lives in Oklahoma. He lives in Owasso.
So you get him, and you get Brad Pitt, and you get Cross Canadian. No, I don't know if they're from Oklahoma. No, they just have that Oklahoma song. And then, get the guy who wrote the Oklahoma musical. And they all go in and buy a team.
We'll just take the Oakland Raiders and make it the.
Oklahoma
No, you go-
Raiders.
you
I
go tell-
dig it.
You go tell them Oakland people that they're taking their football team. You get stabbed. But no, I don't know why I hate it. It's such a dumb thing to hate. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't expect us to have a sports talk to last this long. But I fucking hate states with multiple sports teams. And then when there's so many states that don't have one. And I don't know why that makes me angry. Because like Texas has 3. Get rid of 2 of them. Get rid of the 3. They got 3 basketball teams. And then they got 2 football teams. Get rid of some of them things and send them to, give one to goddamn Delaware.
Let Delaware have it.
You know?
Man.
And then, Florida doesn't need 2. New York definitely doesn't need 2.
Just send the Texans to Oklahoma. They can be the Oklahoma
Right.
Texans.
Well, Oklahoma has the Thunder.
No, I was talking about for football.
Oh, football. Did you know, fun
Football.
fact, that for a long time, and it could still be like this, but for a long time, a lot of the Oklahoma Sooners roster were people from Texas.
It's still that way. That's why I made the joke.
Is it still that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then just cut out that part of me explaining and just you make the joke and cut to us laughing.
Or there's just a pause there for a few seconds and then we come in laughing.
Oh shit.
I don't mean to cut the fun short, but I do have to get some stuff done before the girls get home.
Fuck you and your responsibilities.
And fuck my children.
Yeah.
That's where you should have gone, man. Trust me, that shit ain't gonna hurt my feelings.
If I just start there, that's all right.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Because now that
Go
I
right to the hot
prefaced it
sauce.
with you, now that I prefaced it with you, you can't get upset with these things.
No, this is true.
You know, I can't just be like, you leave my kid out of it, even though I called yours a bastard.
Man.
We've done this. I gave you the
Because
disclaimer.
they're just harmless jokes. You know, we can't be. I don't want to be a part of that society where everything is fucking. Everybody's sensitive about everything.
Everything's off limits, and
You know, because I'm under the impression I can't remember who said it, but it made such an impact in my life. I do not I don't get mad at jokes. I mean, there are jokes that I don't find funny and that I do find are not my kind of sense of humor. But I don't ever get mad at jokes because I don't feel that it's right to laugh at one joke and then get mad at a different one.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know. But I do have
humor, I guess.
Huh?
I said it depends on your humor.
Yeah. I mean, you know, all of us have a perverse sense of humor. Now, I know me more so than a lot of people, but I think a lot of times I think the uncomfortability of a topic of a joke is what makes the joke so funny to me. And you also now there are jokes I don't make. I'm not going to bring up the jokes I don't make now because they're sad. But then you got to be tasteful. Like you wouldn't make a insert sad thing here in front of somebody who went through inserted sad situation.
Yeah.
Oh.
Situational awareness is important.
You've got to be. You've got to be dedicated to the funny. But and the part of that means knowing when it's funny.
Right.
That's very true. There's people that we know that just they think they're being funny, but they just say the most shocking and fucked up thing that they can think of to say. There's actually a couple people, but and it's just like at a certain point you literally just kill the room. Like you need to be able to read your room. But B, shock humor is you still got to have the humor part of it. You can't just say the most shocking, fucked up thing that come to your mind and be like, ha ha ha, ain't I funny? No, that's not how that works.
You're the only one laughing, no nuts.
Yeah, you're bad. Shocking humor can be really good, but it has to be witty and it has to be correlative to what you're talking about. You can't just yell out some shocking, offensive, obtuse shit that doesn't even fit into what everybody else is talking about.
Nope.
You can't just come into the left out of left field and just say some racist shit.
Right,
Think
you
it's
know.
That too.
just some of those jokes can just go way out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I do think there's some funny racist jokes. Now I don't think like the putting a race down racist joke is funny, but like commenting on like a stereotype or something like that, there is humor in that. Now, I don't think there's humor in putting a race down like some of racist jokes can do.
Yeah.
But like I said, and jokes about racism can be funny. It's just that's a very tight rope that you have to know how to walk.
Yeah.
And you have to have the balls to walk it.
And just like walking a tightrope, if you don't know what you're doing, you just need to stay away.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like, I mean, like, take Louis C.K. apart from his scandal and stuff. You know, but he has some great jokes about racism that are construed as racist. You know, but he knows how to walk that line to be offensive but funny, to go too far while staying restricted. You know, and he like I said, Barr's thing. He is a genius comedian. He just, I think he liked to jerk off in front of people. Isn't that what he did?
Yeah, but see, that's another thing too, where like it's not nearly as bad as you can't put him in the same camp as like Cosby, for example. Like because with Louis C.K. and he wasn't even surprising these people. It wasn't like he was like, taking his dick out and then letting them walk in the room, or taking his dick out after they were in the room or what. He was asking, "Hey, can I jerk off in front of you?" And so the worst part of his whole scandal is these are women that worked with him or for him, and so didn't feel comfortable saying no in the moment because they felt like there was a possibility that their job could have been at risk. Whether or not that was the truth or not, in their mind, that possibility existed because so many times that's the way things are.
Before, yeah.
So you have to take that into account when you're doing these things. Even though your personal intent may not be, if she doesn't watch me stroke myself, then I'm going to fire her. You have to take that into account that she very well may be too afraid of that scenario to say no.
And not just the whole losing your job aspect, because some men don't respond well to rejection, period.
That's another very good point.
And so you got to take that stuff into consideration, because like when I get rejected, I have to go angrily masturbate.
Hold on. Start that part over again, and I'm going to mute myself, and I'll be back.
Okay.
No, I was saying just start that thought over again, and I'll be right back.
Oh, it's like when I get rejected, I have to go angrily masturbate so I don't hit somebody in the face. My ego can't handle it. I'm like, who the fuck you think you are not wanting to fuck me? Now, of course, we don't do it because I'm not a fucking piece of shit. I never understood that. I guess because, like, I was dealing with rejection. I looked just fugly as a child. Now, it's gotten okay as an adult. But as a child, like, I was fugly. So I was used to rejection, like, all the time. It was no big thing to me. And so then you hear stories about guys freaking out because this woman or this other man rejected them. And I'm like, that's a part of life.
Mm-hmm. It happens more than once.
Just ridiculous. But, I guess
Cool that you think it doesn't.
back. I guess Joe gets back. We can sign off because I do have to go get some. I like how I was like, I gotta go, and then I started a whole new conversation.
Hey,
here we are 15 minutes later.
I guess you didn't have to go that bad.
Right?
Yeah.
I do, but I like talking to y'all.
True.
Well, the feeling is not
shit.
mutual, so.
Oh.
I'm sorry I made that noise.
I'm sorry. No, that made me feel good.
Oh.
Because that's, I'm like, okay, it landed. It landed.
Well, because, like, especially, because, like, at least like with me, mine and Tingle's like relationship, friendship is still in like an early stages. We're just now testing out those waters. So, like, what can we do with this person? You know,
Right.
Like, how far can I go without making it? And that's such a fun part of a friendship. You know,
Yep.
like it's like what you can figure out what you can and cannot do because there's that little that worry is like, oh shit, is this going to be taken wrong? Because like I know how to talk to Aqua and I know how I can talk to Joe and you know what to avoid, when to avoid things. And, you know, so I'm at that like that new part with you where it's just all right. Let's see how this goes. Just roll the dice. And I like that.
Love it.
But before I get off on another tangent, do have to go. Do we want to sign off?
My name is Aquaberry Shark.
I am Marathidian.
And I'm Regular Joe.
And I'm Tangles Bay.
We'll see you guys next week.
Maybe.
Make sure you like
Probably.
and subscribe, and be sure to hit that bell notification to get all the notifications of new Savage Society videos.
I completely forget about that part of doing this every time.
So good tag, Aqua.
You're right. Good catch.
Good.
We might get professional with this one day.
One of these days,
Yeah,
maybe.
right.